Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we re-journeying back in time to one of the most consequential conflicts in ancient history, the Punic Wars between Rome and Carthage. More than just a series of battles, this was a century-long struggle that defined the future of an entire sea, and, by extension, the Western world. The final, chilling declaration. Carthago, delenda est, Carthage must be destroyed, was just a political statement. It was the proclamation of a new world order. How did the fall of this mighty Phoenician city-state pave the way for Rome's unprecedented rise? Let's find out. Our story begins with two titans staring each other down across the sparkling waters of the Mediterranean. On the Italian peninsula, the Roman Republic, a land-based power with a disciplined citizen army, was consolidating its control. Across the sea, on the coast of modern-day Tunisia, stood Carthage, the master of the waves, a formidable maritime empire built on trade. Its influence stretched from North Africa to Spain, and its navy was the undisputed king of the sea. For a long time, these two powers coexisted, their spheres of influence largely separate. But as Rome's ambitions grew, a collision became inevitable. The flashpoint. The island of Sicily, a strategic and agricultural jewel coveted by both. The First Punic War, which erupted in 264 BC, was a brutal 23-year slog. It forced Rome, a nation of farmers and foot soldiers, to do the unthinkable: build a navy from scratch. Imagine the sheer audacity. They literally reverse-engineered a shipwrecked Carthaginian vessel. But Rome's true genius wasn't just copying, it was innovating. They invented the corvus, a boarding bridge that turned a sea battle into a land battle on water, playing directly to their strengths. After immense losses on both sides, Rome emerged victorious, claiming Sicily as its first overseas province, along with Sardinia and Corsica. Carthage was humbled, but not broken. The stage was set for round two, and a name that would echo through history: Hannibal Barca. Hannibal was more than just a general. He was the living embodiment of Carthaginian vengeance. Swearing an oath as a child to forever be an enemy of Rome, he devised one of the most daring military plans in history. Instead of a direct naval assault, he would take the fight to Rome's doorstep. In 218 BC, he marched his army, complete with war elephants, out of Spain, across the Pyrenees, and over the treacherous Alps in the dead of winter. It was an impossible feat, a logistical nightmare that cost him nearly half his men. But the men who survived were hardened, loyal, and ready to shatter the Roman Republic. For the next 15 years, Hannibal rampaged through Italy. He inflicted a series of crushing defeats on the Romans, with the Battle of Cannae being his masterpiece. There, he used a brilliant double envelopment tactic to encircle and annihilate a much larger Roman army. It was a tactical masterclass that is still studied in military academies today. Rome was on its knees, its allies wavering. The city itself was in a state of sheer panic. It seemed as though Hannibal was unstoppable. But Rome had a secret weapon, its unbreakable spirit and a new general, Scipio. While Hannibal was wreaking havoc in Italy, a young Roman general named Publius Cornelius Scipio was learning from Hannibal's own tactics. Instead of confronting Hannibal directly, Scipio took the war back to Carthage's home turf. He invaded North Africa, forcing the Carthaginian government to recall Hannibal to defend the homeland. The final showdown came in 202 BC at the Battle of Zama. Here, Scipio, having studied Hannibal's methods, turned the tables. He neutralized Hannibal's elephants and used his superior cavalry to outflank and crush the Carthaginian army. Hannibal had finally been defeated. The Second Punic War was over. Rome was now the undisputed master of the Western Mediterranean. The peace terms were harsh. Carthage was stripped of its overseas territories. Its navy was dismantled, and it was forbidden from waging war without Rome's permission. For half a century, a fragile peace held. Carthage, focusing on trade, actually began to recover economically. But in Rome, the old fears and hatreds lingered. One senator, Cato the Elder, became obsessed. He ended every speech, no matter the topic, with that famous, ominous phrase, "Carthago delenda est." He argued that as long as Carthage existed, it would remain a threat. This constant drumbeat of fear and ambition eventually led to the Third Punic War. This final conflict, beginning in 149 BC, was less of a war and more of an execution. The Romans laid siege to the city of Carthage, and for 3 long years the Carthaginians mounted a heroic but hopeless defense. They fought street by street, house by house. When the city finally fell in 146 BC, the aftermath was horrific. Roman soldiers were unleashed, and what followed was a week of relentless slaughter and destruction. The city was systematically plundered, its buildings torn down, and its very foundations razed. Ancient sources claim the Romans even sowed the fields with salt to ensure nothing would ever grow there again. While modern historians debate the literal truth of the salting, the symbolic message was clear. Carthage was to be erased from history. The fall of Carthage was a seismic event that reshaped the ancient world. First and foremost, Rome's victory eliminated its only real rival for Mediterranean dominance. With Carthage gone, there was no one left to challenge Roman authority. The sea truly became Mare Nostrum, our sea. This new, uncontested control allowed Roman trade, culture, and legions to spread unimpeded, laying the groundwork for the vast empire to come. The territorial gains from the wars, Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, parts of Spain, and North Africa, provided Rome with immense resources, grain to feed its growing population, and minerals to fuel its economy. The Punic Wars also fundamentally transformed the Roman military. The constant existential threat forced them to adapt and evolve, creating the most professional and effective fighting force the world had ever seen. The influx of wealth from conquered lands, however, had a double-edged effect. It fueled a massive economic boom, but also exacerbated social inequalities. Vast slave-run estates, or latifundia, owned by the wealthy elite, pushed small farmers off their land and into the cities, creating a volatile urban population. This social tension would eventually contribute to the downfall of the Republic and the rise of the empire. In a way, the destruction of Carthage planted the seeds for Rome's own future transformation and eventual decline. So, when we look back at the rubble of ancient Carthage, we see more than just the ghost of a fallen city. We see the birth certificate of the Roman Empire. The victory over its greatest rival was the pivotal moment that set Rome on a trajectory to conquer the known world, shaping the laws, languages, and cultures of Europe for the next 2 millennia. The echo of Carthage must be destroyed is a chilling reminder of how the fall of one power is often the foundation upon which another is built. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey's greatest conflict. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the past. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Let us know in the comments what historical event you'd like us to explore next. Until then, stay curious.